when it comes to adopting the functional adult love language, it is ideal, like all of the IHP content, for those who take ownership of their 6 basic human emotions. And therefore, when your right brain stuff comes up, you're using your left to look with inner growth, that mindset that expands your consciousness. So, a person who wants to tap into infinite higher human consciousness potential experiences and who's okay with having a 5D mystic be a person who supports you. So 5D mystics also are building a lovely group, and the Enlightenment Soul Age group is actually where I'm speaking from. So that's another part that you want to notice, and there's nothing special about it. It's a selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, richness game of the brain, and I can explain all about it, but that's not going to be here. What I want to talk about here is that when we are in the presence of people who hurt people, so adaptive children who have unresolved trauma, the functional adults know exactly how to handle themselves. Doesn't mean it's perfection. I was a teenager and I clearly noted manipulation. I clearly even used the word "you're manipulating," and I actually learned recently, and I kind of knew it intuitively, all human beings manipulate, because to talk to each other, we must use words. Now, the ones who like to think you're playing gymnastics, or basically they're kind of not in the same spectrum, if you will, but really it's an exchange always, because that's the part. We're always talking. So the functional adults don't see the challenge because we're not competing. If I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, I'm having what is called a conversation, but I have self-empowerment, which means that I'm a differentiated self. So my thoughts and feelings, they navigate because me, Maria, the person, has no need for you to say, yeah, you can tell it to me this way or not. So when somebody will begin to do their little dance of you're not saying it correctly, it's like, I don't need to and I will not. You can call me willfully ignorant. I'm okay with that. Stupid, go for it. Another word of which ones do you want to throw at me while I keep trying to say I heard you the first time around. I'm still choosing what I'm choosing, and I'm not sure why we're doing this. So again, functional adults, we just chit-chat. People who chit-chat with adaptive children, they're not just chit-chatting. So the adaptive child is in an unresolved trauma body, meaning that whatever comes up, which is charged, they don't tend to. So see, I love to get passionate. Now that I'm 43 and I'm in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and so I've learned how to master being in heaven in my body, which is really great. I'm still practicing it. Kali still comes up without Shiva and Krishna Leela sometimes, and this is because of the embodiment of strong opinions that I have yet to learn to say, calm down, Kali, come on in, Shiva, come on in. So Krishna Leela is when you're engaging with your ventral vagal state. Oh, and that's why I said I'm a 5D mystic, and I love bringing in the spirituality and human elements, because that's how I share how to put into practice the infinite higher human consciousness potential experience. You functional adults, you who love language. I've always loved communication, but not in the way of the dictionary police people, and I was one of those police people. But see, teenagers, we come from the whole black and white thinking, and it's teenage years where we have a pruning process in our brain. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, high five. So this pruning process, which I'm not going to go explaining about, there's also the thing we find other alloparenting people. I personally saw that teenagers were not to be trusted because they did not know what they wanted in life. And they still don't. In fact, they're emotionally insecure, immature, and you can tell by how men and women in the stereotype community, which I saw this one video, I think I talk about it today in one of the episodes, and it's quite revolting, if you will, and I shouldn't say it, but inside of me, I actually feel like, wow, you're dumbing down the human species, and it's been so many years. I'm wondering, when are we going to get out of the cave people between men and women who are traditional? By the way, so thank goodness we got younger generations moving away from the whole silverback idea, because seriously, if you're an owner of yourself, you're like, what are you doing? Why you keep trying to control everything? Like, what's the deal? You have no creativity whatsoever. You're old, even if you're young, and you feel like a dead weight because you don't know how to move with the times. Like, there's just so much staleness when people are in their fight, flight, fright. Because again, adaptive children, they have unresolved trauma. They try to change each other. They try to comfort in a way of, I'll make you secure. And we're like, you can't actually do that. For all we know, tomorrow an asteroid's going to come hit the Earth, and you're not aware that today's your potentially only last day. So there's a lot of different things mystics in the 5D plane know about with the energy. There is no devil, no evil, please, no. That's right. Do not tune in to any of the IHP content if you still have that belief. because I did grow up with Jesus. I love Jesus. And in fact, I plan on doing something special for the lovely person who's already was an optimized 101 human being, used his brain and walked with all people. I still wonder how they get that confused. You know, I'm like, wow, okay, you read all these passages, but you potentially forgot he walked with all people. Like that part always got me, like, And then the part of all-knowing, all-powerful God, like that's like, you seem to have not gotten that either. And I'm pretty clear on the basics of how to treat other people, which is don't hurt. So again, you know, just one stupid person over here. But what I was trying to say is if we look at the scale of evil from a forensic criminologist, it's all people that need a good therapist. And I feel bad for people who don't go and get help, because the hurt people who hurt people, their body hurts. Trauma memory is not fun. Dysregulated or modulated embodied experiences are not fun. Having a shame Teflon bag is not fun. In fact, it creates what is called isolation, and then people isolate, and that's not our mammalian heritage, for as much as the 4D wants to keep talking about us being reptilians, and that's not how it actually works. Your nervous system, you got the reptilian, fight, flight, fright, freeze, and then the mammalian, your ventral vagal. Yoga is a portfolio of ventral vagal nervous system toning exercises. Thank you, Stephen Porges. It's not only that, because besides that, and then mindfulness, you actually need to interact with people that say, hey, you're a shit, and yo, hey, high five, and we can hug it out. So here's my functional adults. We hug it out. We actually look at people in the eye and say, tell me more about why you don't like me. No, we actually don't do that, but we are curious. So when people have said, I don't like you, I'm so sorry. Which one is it? Is it the smothering kindness, or is it the part that and you know, one time I did have this person, only once it happened to me, but I was like, okay, I'll need to remember this one. I was trying to make conversation because we were all sitting down together and they were all by themselves and not actually conversing. And they were like, why don't you leave me alone? I don't remember, but they said something. I was like, whoa, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought we were all here eating together and maybe wanted to chit chat, but I don't have to chit chat with you. So this is what happens. We don't insult people because they get unfriendly. We understand something's up, nasty's in you, because, and here's again, it's not fun. So the 0 to 1 year old doesn't choose to have unresolved trauma the same way we don't choose transgenerational. And the ones of us who are compassionate and can laugh about it's because we know the human species can triumph together. Functional adult love language is important because we don't have enough people who can actually be with opposites and say, you know what, I respect you and I respect me and I would love to keep chatting. And I'm not going to waver. So when you do meet that, this is beautiful. I got plenty of people. We're complete opposites when it comes to societal stuff, political stuff, religious stuff. I've shared with them. I'm a mystic. I'm Reiki with respect to their background. I've never felt offended if they've used words or whatever it is. I'm polysecure. Polyamory is seen in a light that is not necessarily... I mean, I don't really care about the ancients who lived scarlet letter times. Personally, I'm 43, and I actually find it ridiculous that we still have things that I'm like blown away by my mind. I can't even believe there's a place, it's a museum that doesn't teach Darwinism. I'm like, whoa, okay, now I need to take steps back because I'm a part of that country, and now I feel ashamed of it because I'm like, where's the intellectual intelligence? I get it that we have different belief systems, but you're actually going against what is actually science knowledge. Like, okay, so you do want to stay in the past, which is great. And this is why when we see groups develop, everybody has their safe space. Safe space for groups. It's like the flat earthers. As long as they stay respectful within the law, they're going to be there. Let's not disrespect anyone. Let's learn to be functional adults. We get to do that. And it's not because we're happy about people not loving education or scientific methodology. No, it's because there's an understanding of a lot of misconceptions, deception, lies. There's just so many different ways that throughout our years as human beings, things have developed. So in the meantime, we're beginning to at least talk about important topics to try to bring people together on those lifestyle aspects that are important to different groups and that can reach a middle. And it's important for the kids. It's important for the earth. It's important for the future. And we need people who can learn how to talk to each other and say shit, but not in that way. In a way of not proving you're right or wrong. Actually just enjoying an exchange of different opinions. Like you see it all over the place. Who does it though? Some of us do. So join the Functional Adult Love Language team, 5D Mystics, and see you again soon. It'll be fun, I promise.